explore the big talking topics in the world of football this week. The anti-Glazer protests at Old Trafford dominate the headlines, along with sports social media blackout, and we bring you all the latest Premier League news and results. Hi guys, how is everyone?
Good.
Yeah, everything's peachy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's get started with the protest at Old Trafford. What did you guys think of that?
It was a difficult one, I think, because I think what they were saying, the 50% plus one rule and trying to get the cases out, I think is admirable. I'd support them in that venture. I think having more fan ownership in football clubs is really important, especially at the very top, where, as you've seen, the Super League fans are not really being represented by their owners. But it's hard to sort of balance that against obviously causing disruption and games to be postponed. So I think actually it's hard to sort of to see what the outlook is, but on the whole, I'd say I support the venture, and that 50% plus one is a good idea. What about you guys? What do you think?
I think the 50 plus one is going to be hard to do it in the UK, but I support the protest fully. Of course, the element where it got too much violent, I'm kind of against that because it got a little bit scary at times, and the police had to really intervene. But I don't blame Man United fans because the Glazers, they don't care about the football. It's not only the European Super League. It happened before, they didn't like them since they joined. They don't care about the club because they put 20 million pounds in their pockets every year, and there's 6 of them, so that's 120 million. And they don't invest in the club. Like the stadiums, they need modernization and all the facilities, the infrastructure, and they don't care about that. I think they even wanted to sell the stadium so they could pay the debt because they got United really in debt.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
what about you, James?
Well, I think it's as a journalist, speaking as a journalist, I think that the media tried to comment differently on what's happened. So it's down to human interpretation whether you think this is bad, what everyone did is bad, they went about it the wrong way, etc., etc., etc. Or you can see it as a good thing that people are trying to have their voice and stick up for themselves, because if they don't, then everything will stay the same and then nothing will ever change. So I do think that most of the protest was peaceful and was in good spirit. But there were people that obviously did smash things or did cause violence. So obviously those people, which is only the minority, did something that I think we all obviously condemn. But what they're trying to do, just like if there was a protest for, I don't know, environmental, global warming, to promote awareness of that, or whatever, the Black Lives Matter movement, that they do need to say what they need to say. And I think that something has to change. So it sent a real message out that the broadcasters weren't able to go through with Liverpool Man United yesterday. And a lot of money got lost yesterday.
It is a shame that a big game, we missed a big game, but I agree with the fans, they need to do something with it, and kudos to them, because it's owners who don't care about football, they only care about the business. Yeah, it's important to care about the business, but you have to give something back to the football. You came here to own a football club, and you don't even go watch the games. You don't even know what the sport is. You don't know what it's about. So what's the point, really? Just to make more money.
What you said, James, was really important about how you've got to make your voice heard, because it's easy for opponents and the club to say, you have your view, but this process is you should follow, write to us or start a petition or organise a meeting or something like that. And it's all this sort of rubbish where there's these sorts of processes that obviously don't work, because Glazers aren't going to just hand over the keys and say, that's it, have the club and it's all gone. That's not going to happen. It's going to need serious sort of movements and actions to get them to hand over the keys and to sell the club. So I can understand why these people felt that this was sort of necessary. But I think another thing is that with COVID, we've become almost like immune and numb now to things being cancelled. It just happens so often that it's sort of like it's not as significant now. But if there were fans in, obviously it would have been much harder to sort of cancel. But nonetheless, the amount of people who were there sort of outside testing, it was so huge that it is a risk for COVID, obviously. So perhaps that's another factor they didn't take into account.
It's going to be hard because one protest is not going to change much. I think more has to be done. So, such a like, don't buy the season ticket. Don't go to I know there's COVID right now, but don't go to the matches, and avoid buying the merchandise. This needs to be like really sorted because some of the owners are disgusting to the football. They only care about the money and not about the sport, and they need to give back to the people who created those clubs. Normal people from locally created those football clubs, and now they're owned by someone rich.
I think 100%.
Go on, James.
Sorry, Pete. Go on.
No, go on, James. I finished, man.
I was just going to say that another thing that needs to be pointed out is I don't know if you guys saw that viral video, the one where 3 or 4 police officers just carried this man around the back of a van and just beat him up. Well, one of them like give 5 or 6 punches to the guy and just said stop resisting when he's clearly like on the floor and he's just a skinny guy. He's on the floor, completely powerless, and he's punching the life out of him. And then they try and get people to stop filming. Actually, as a journalist, you're allowed to film. So they can't actually, or anyone, it's a legal right for anybody to film. So they can't tell you to stop filming. That's just a myth.
It's in the code of policing. Yeah.
Police brutality is really bad that, I feel like bouncers and police, they just want to try and beat people up sometimes just for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, if that wasn't filmed, it's same with George Floyd in the US. If that wasn't filmed, police's word would be much more sort of powerful than the word of witnesses or those involved. So it'd just be sort of brushed under the carpet, and they'd say, policemen must have used reasonable force, but as it's filmed, it's obviously it's easier to get the word out there. But I guess we sort of veered away from the protest now onto police brutality. Yeah.
But I didn't see the video, so I'm not going to comment on it. But I think if those fans who are violent during those protests should be fined, because there's no excuse to go and destroy the stadium. That's plain stupid, I think. So do a protest peacefully, show it in a different manner, but don't be violent, because that's not going to do any good, I think.
Yeah, so if they're violent and they're throwing the TV cameras or breaking the seats or throwing flares in people's faces or whatever, or chucking glass, then those people should be banned from all matches. They shouldn't be allowed to enter any of the matches.
And I think those stewards, they were poor because there was only a handful of them, and people were charging at them. And I think
one of them had the gate open. One of them, I saw that on Twitter. But I think that it is in a democracy, you need to have a right to protest. And I think what Chris was saying is right. Like if they wrote to them or if they were nicey nice, then nothing's ever going to change. So unfortunately, if it's protesting about Sarah Everard and women's rights, or whether it's protesting about Black Lives Matter movement, then or things changing, then things have to change. But I think in the last 20, 30 years, things haven't changed. And the COVID pandemic has awoken a consciousness in society where people think they've had enough of this, and basically being stuck at home, people are angry, people are frustrated.
Yeah, but if you go to violence, if you choose violence, then those above you will say like, well, we accept peaceful protests, but we don't accept violent ones.
Exactly.
It is a very tough topic, but I think more should be done, definitely. Like as I said before, stop supporting the club until you kick the owners out. I think in terms of money, don't buy merch and stuff. I know it's hard because it's the club you love. I can understand that, and you want to support it with all your heart. But something should be done. Maybe in the parliament, those owners shouldn't have such freedom, I think.
Yeah, they need to come down hard on those 6 owners, because it's like Manchester City pretty much ruined football. They were 10th or 13th like in 2007, and then they spent something like 500 billion or something, or 500 million. I can't remember how much the figures were, but they spent an awful lot of money to bring by success. And then Chelsea as well, like Roman Abramovich, like he's not his human rights record and what he's done with oil again is questionable. And yet they've allowed, if that was right now, they wouldn't have allowed him to buy the club, just like they wouldn't have allowed Sheikh Mansour to buy the club, because at Newcastle they thwarted the Saudis from the Saudi takeover at Newcastle. But if that had happened right now, Abramovich tried to buy Chelsea tomorrow, or Sheikh Mansour tried to buy Man City tomorrow, there's no way that the Premier League would have allowed it. So it's like, why are they allowing it now?
Well, it's again a tough topic. Why does the FIFA allow World Cup in Qatar? We know the conditions down there.
Yeah, you're actually right. Yeah.
So this is what disgusts me about football. It's all about money and it's all corrupt. It's so corrupt over there. And with Chelsea, Abramovich, there are some better owners and some worse owners. Glazers are one of the worst, I think, in the Premier League. To be fair, because
they do invest in players, though, Pete. They did spend on Pogba. They spent loads of wages on Cavani. So I don't know where they got all this money from, but they got Cavani and they spent all that money on his wages. They got
the players, but
they bought loads on Aaron Wan-Bissaka or Harry Maguire for like 80 million. So there must be money there because
they do have money because obviously they do have money, but they don't invest in like the infrastructure and how are you going to progress if you don't invest in a new modern ways of trainings. United is one of the far back out of all the Premier League teams in that regard.
And I also think that like Daniel Levy as well, like getting rid of Pochettino has just caused a massive nightmare. Like they have one of the best coaches in the world, consistently had them doing well. And it's like now there's virtually no one on the market for them. And the Cronks. I feel like it's like
Kroenke.
Cronks.
Kroenke's another one that
they're trying to get them out of Arsenal, and they had a massive protest last weekend. So it's like none of the owners are any good, and FSG as well never invest in the team for Liverpool. Like if you think Man United, at least they actually invest in the team and buy players. FSG don't buy anyone.
I think with corruption, Qatar,
no one in the last 3 years.
Yeah, you mentioned corruption in Qatar at the World Cup, and a lot of people have thought around when Sepp Blatter was in charge of FIFA that he was like core of the issue, and that once he left, it'll be sorted. And he left in 2015 or 14, and it's not much better, is it? Like
it's never going to be better because
huge owners, and the World Cup is still in Qatar, so
it's never going to be. It's never going to be like that because it's not only one person; it's the whole collective. One will leave, but the rest will stay. And it's like the World Cup in South Africa. That was corrupted because that World Cup should have been in Morocco, not in South Africa. So again, and Arsenal, you said about Arsenal, they don't invest in any players really. Look how they are doing right now in a couple seasons, shockingly.
Yeah, and also look at Gordon Taylor, the PFA chairman, the chief executive of the PFA. Like he's been in there 40 years. So that's a tyranny. Like no one should be in that charge that long.
Yeah.
But, moving on, everybody. Let's go on to the.
Let's talk some football.
Let's go on to football matters. So, what did you guys think of Manchester City's winning against Crystal Palace, which brings them closer to the title?
I thought City played all right, actually. They played quite well. First half, I thought Palace actually kept him out fairly well. And it was fairly even in the first half, actually. But with City, I think he just never going to keep him out for the whole game. I think against Chelsea, it was the first game in the FA Cup. It was the first game in months and months that they'd not scored in. So you're never going to keep him out for the whole game. So Palace did well for the first half. But yeah, there's a good ball of Fernandinho as well for the goal. And they'll be hoping he stays. But that was ruled offside. So they can do about that. Sorry, go on, James.
Aguero scored and Ferran
And Torres.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about whether the goal was ruled out in the first half. It was offside.
Right.
I'm not sure who scored, but it was Fernandinho who had like a for it, but yeah, it didn't count. So.
Yes, City scored twice in a space of 2 minutes and basically won the game. But I think it's not a surprise that City won against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is at the moment. They are in 13th position in the table. And to be fair, if you look at the stats, they had 9 shots on City's net with 4 on target, so that's not bad. I think there were possibilities that they could score, but at the end, they were outclassed by a team that is much stronger than them.
Yeah, and also, it's a good point you raised, Chris, that Man City weren't able to score against Chelsea in the FA Cup, and also Man United, when Man United ended their unbeaten run, 1-2-0.
And City lost against Leeds.
Oh, yeah, 2-1, yeah. But they have been on a roll, though, lately, and as beating PSG 2-1, and they just seem to be churning out results, so...
It's hard to stop them right now.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 left. I think they'll get those 4 wins, and that'll be 92 points. And 92 points isn't too shabby.
If you look at
the league, I mean, it's never. I know it's not confirmed yet because the game was cancelled with Man United, but obviously, in the league, it's not. It's not in doubt. So.
If you look at the table, well, City has like 13 points more than United. No one's catching up to them.
Definitely, yeah, I agree.
Hopefully, next
Mendy had a decent game though. I think he was a player that impressed me. Man City. It was a good ball for. I think it was Aguero's goal. It might not have been, but he played well. I was impressed with him.
Hopefully next season will be more competitive because Man City have kind of run away with it.
Yeah, well, there is some competitivity. I like Leicester.
Yeah,
I like what Leicester's doing with Brendan Rodgers. I think he's a great manager.
Yeah, I hope they keep him. Like, he should be loyal to them and stay with them. Like, why would you want to go to Tottenham when they're failing and not doing very well? Leicester, he's built a really good team, top 4, got them to the FA Cup final. So if he wins in the FA Cup, takes them to the Champions League, he's building a good team there.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of like winning trophies and stuff at Tottenham, it doesn't seem as if you're going to win in there, is it? So, I mean, staying at Leicester for Brendan Rodgers, it seems like the right decision. They're higher up than Spurs in the table and more likely to win trophies and get in the Champions League.
What do you guys think of Roy Hodgson, the Crystal Palace manager? He's, I think, the oldest manager in the Premier League. And how long can he coach, do you think, James?
Quit at the end of the season, and I think Eddie Howe might take over.
Crystal Palace?
Yeah, there's talk that he might not continue his contract at the end of the season and he might leave, might retire.
I think he
will finish the season.
You think he will stay another season?
No, I think he will finish this season.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to predict, He can do whatever he wants, but I think he has been good for Palace. He managed to stay with them for a couple of years in the Premier League. Last season they finished 14th. Season before they finished 12th. So I think it's all right. It's not the best team, but it's a consistent team, definitely.
Mediocre. That he doesn't exactly like shake any trees. He doesn't actually put.
He's one of those other managers, a bit like Steve Bruce, Alan Podge, who have been managed like loads of clubs. Like he's managed like 30 clubs or something. Because he manages
in Sweden, I think.
Switzerland in the 70s.
Sweden as well.
Yeah. So it's just mad, really. But he stayed at Palace for a few years now, and I think he's done all right. He's kept them up, which I think one of the goal for them since they first came up in 2013 or 14, I think. So I think he's done all right.
To be fair, I doubt any manager will come to Crystal Palace and make them, I don't know, a top 4 team at the moment. So I think Roy Hodgson doing a good job there.
Okay, moving on to Tottenham. Tottenham got the biggest win of the weekend, winning 4-0 against Sheffield United. A hat-trick for Gareth Bale. Very good hat-trick, actually, especially the third goal that thundered in from his magical left boot. And Son Heung-min as well got the 4th. Pretty good strike from outside the area. What do you guys think of how Tottenham are doing at the moment under Ryan Mason?
Well, it's Sheffield United. So it's a team that's totally in despair. They are going down. They only have 17 points. So any manager probably would come and win if you have like Harry Kane, Son in your team. So yeah, I wasn't surprised that they won. I expected them to win at least with 3 goals. They won with 4, so that's good. Bale, and a great hat trick, and you know how great of a player is. So I don't, it was a formality.
It's still a game Ryan Mason didn't really want in his first few weeks as manager. It's a game he can easily win, and he's his second matches and thrashed them 4-0, and that really improved his confidence. Because now in 3 games he's won 2, which is a pretty good sort of win record, 66%. So I'm not sure if he'll stay on after the summer, but I guess we'll just have to see whether it's Eddie Howe or whether it's Brendan Rodgers. I don't know.
Tim Sherwood did really well. When he was there, he got the highest win percentage. I don't know why they sacked him. I thought the guy did well.
Yeah. Daniel Levy, he just seemed to have a fairly sort of blasé attitude to sacking managers. Like, Pochettino, he was really good and then they sacked him. It's a bit like a Leicester when Ranieri won the league and then they sacked him like 6 months later. So
I think it's Daniel Levy is impulsive, very impulsive. If he doesn't like something, he gets rid of the managers quickly instead of like calming down and not doing it hot-headed. Like with Jose Mourinho, he should have stayed at the end of the season, and then they could change the manager. But don't fire him like just 1 week before the EFL final. That was a not smart idea, I think. I don't know. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think that nothing pleases that guy, Daniel Levy, and it's like he's his own worst enemy. Really, his decisions have backfired, and sacking Mourinho on the eve of a cup final. That's why you got Mourinho in to win your trophies. He butts heads with everyone. So yeah, I don't know why they did that. And you don't really sack someone during a season. Should have waited to the off season. And I think there's like 16 million or something they're going to have to pay him in compensation. So it's just a bit of a dumb move, really. Moving on to Everton Aston Villa. Were you guys surprised about Aston Villa's win?
I was surprised. I mean, Aston Villa have not had sort of best season. They've had a couple of sort of half results where they've fluked it a bit, like against Liverpool earlier in the season. They scored 7, I think, didn't they? Or 6 or something. So I was surprised they won, but I think it won't dent Everton that much. They've still had a really good season. So hopefully, at least for them, they'll get into the top 6 and really sort of a huge result for them to get into the Europa League. Although I'm sure they'll want Champions League as well, as they had in 2006. I think it was the last season they were in the European Cup. So that'll be interesting.
Flying high with Martin O'Neill. He did a good job.
In terms of the game, I think Aston Villa, was I surprised? Not much, to be fair, because Everton is a team they can win 1 week against Liverpool and go next week to West Brom and lose, So, and Aston Villa, I don't think they had a very bad season right now. They're 10th, so bang in the middle. And last season they were fighting for the relegation. Yeah. Also, if you look at the stats are very, very equal, with possession being on Aston Villa side, 53% to 47 passes, more passes made by Aston Villa players than Everton players. Mm. So shots as well, very equal. So I think they deserve to win, to be fair.
Yeah, I think I agree more with Pete than you, Chris, on this one. Sorry, Chris, I just think that
right.
Villa were battling relegation and only just stayed up by the skin of their teeth. I think they were 17th last season. They only just stayed up. And this season, they've improved markedly. They've Ross Barkley, they've brought him in, Ollie Watkins as well. Like they've seen a really good unit, and I think they've played well. But they were in January, February, were knocking on the door of the top 6. I think they were 6th, 7th, 8th. They were Liverpool, right behind Chelsea, right behind West Ham, and then they faded a bit because of Jack Grealish's injury. So I think it's been a successful season for them. They're still in the top half of the table. They could still finish 7th, 8th, or 9th. And Jack Grealish signed a new contract as well.
Yeah, that was important.
I think Dean Smith's proven himself now as a manager to show that last season was a bad season, but now they're here to stay. They're a big team. They used to, win the Champions League.
Yeah, they were up there.
They're a big team in English football, so that's why I think they had a lot to say about the Super League. So it's good to see them win.
I think it was very important that they kept Jack Grealish last season, because if he would left, that might have destroyed the puzzle. I think he was the important link that put this team to progress this season. So well done to Aston Villa. I really like that story of a team that underperformed last year and now they just progressed and became better.
Yeah.
And they kept the manager. See what happens when you don't fire the manager?
Yeah, that's true. Dean Smith. Yeah, I think the link is there, the club and the community.
Turn it around. Exactly. Sorry, Chris.
Sorry, no, I didn't realize you were talking. Yeah, I was going to say the link is there with the local sort of community, with Grealish and Dean Smith, are both sort of local people and actually fans of the club, that they can really sort of maintain that sort of association. Grealish has now been there for so long that I think if he did go, the team would almost fall apart, because he's almost like a leader in that team, and he really sort of drags them along. So I think they'll do well to keep him in the summer, definitely.
That's a good point, Chris. And what do you guys? Obviously, Everton were the favourites for that game. Villa the underdogs, and Villa won away at Goodison. What do you guys think of Everton? Because this is a big blow for their top 4 hopes now.
No, they're definitely not going to get top 4. But they will try to push for the Europa League. But I think now Liverpool and Tottenham is going to be either Liverpool or Tottenham finish 5th. Everton will not get the Europa League. They are too inconsistent. If you see the results, they drew against Brighton, they drew against Palace, they lost against Burnley. The last couple of games were terrible for them. Last time they won, well, they won against Arsenal, to be fair, but that was a mistake from Leno. But they are struggling at the moment. They don't win much games, so yeah, no Europa League for them. Doubt that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm getting to Champions League either. I mean, they're 4 points off 5th and 9 points off 4th. So even though they've got a game in hand, a lot of teams have got a game in hand. So I'm not sure if that's really going to help them. Yeah, I'm not sure if they will, but I'm sure they'll really want it. And if you think of how they've done sort of since Moyes left, I think getting to sort of 6th or 7th will be a really big achievement for Ancelotti, and that might even land them in the Europa League if things go their way and that ends up being a European place.
Yeah, I think Roberto Martinez did a good job at Everton, had them consistently in the top 6, 7 or 8, and I think he left after 4 years in 2017, and it's like when they got rid of him and they got Ronald Koeman didn't do well, and neither did Marco Silva or Sam Allardyce. So it's like this is the best they've done, actually, getting Carlo Ancelotti. But the question is, how far can Ancelotti push that team? Can he make them get the top 4 next week?
I think maybe not top 4 right now, but if he decides to stay, I know he's a big manager and he might want to leave. But if he gives himself like maybe 2-3 seasons, I can see them in Champions League. I think they are making progress. This progress is not fast; it's gradual, and yeah, I think if he can stay with them, he can definitely push this team even further. And he attracts many players because they respect Carlo Ancelotti for what he had done in football. But this season is going to be hard. They still have to play City at the end, so I don't know. West Ham Everton, that's going to be a big game next. Everton West Ham.
Definitely.
Moving on to our team of the week, guys, which is Arsenal. And Arsenal won at the weekend, winning 2-0 against Newcastle, with Mohamed El Nenye's first goal for the club, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with his first appearance since having malaria. So with sitting 9th in the table and looking very far off the European places or the Champions League, and having not finished in the Champions League places since 2017 for 4 years. What do you guys think of Arsenal?
Yeah, finally Arsenal have won. Well, Arsenal are struggling a lot. I think we touched on it a little bit with Stan Kroenke, not investing in the club. I think Arteta is struggling as well. They lost to Villarreal in the Europa League, the first leg. They won against Newcastle because I think the game went really badly from the start for Newcastle. They lost a goal in the first opening 5 minutes. They got the red card, which I think was deserved. Some people thought it wasn't, but I agree with the ref with the red card. And even the stats say that Newcastle only had 1 shot on target and only 5 shots compared to 19 from Arsenal. If you don't create chances, you don't win games. And Newcastle wasn't the day. And Arsenal, yeah, well done to El Neni, because I think that was his first Premier League goal. and nice comeback from Aubameyang, but yeah, Arsenal dominated and deserved to win.
Yeah, I thought they played well. Both goals were decent, I thought, especially Aubameyang with sort of athletics where he's almost like a scissor kick. Actually, Ryan played well as well. And he was a good keeper at Brighton. He's done well at Arsenal too. So yeah, they're not going to get European players, are they? Because they're ninth now. I think it's really not accessible for them. The sort of club who would want top four and want to be looking for titles. So yeah, I think we need to make changes in the summer, and I think sacking the manager is not the way to go. He's not a bad manager, I don't think. Man City, it was okay, but changing players is the best way to go, I think, for them.
Yeah, well, Arsenal can still get to Champions League this season if they win the Europa League. And I don't know if they can win the Europa League. They lost to Villarreal, and if they meet United in the final, even if they beat Villarreal, it's going to be very difficult to beat United because they are on a good run as well now, beating Roma 6-2. So it will be hard, but it's still possible. Still possible, but otherwise, I don't see them making top 5, even top 6 this season. I think they will balance between 8th and 10th position. It is sad to see Arsenal falling from grace like that because every season they seem to regress a little bit. I thought that this season is going to be the season for Arsenal to shine, to go back to at least maybe top 5, top 4. Well, they are disappointing, really disappointing. I don't know what's wrong with the club. Maybe it's Sankronki. As he said, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. So there you go.
I mean, they won the FA Cup last season. That was their golden moment, being Manchester City in the semi-finals.
Yeah, and this season, regress.
And then beating Chelsea in the final 2-1. But they, no, this season, apart from probably beating Spurs, I don't think they've done anything amazing.
They are always balancing between losses and wins. They only won 14 games and lost 13. It's really, they need to win more games. Look at United or Leicester. 4 losses, 9 losses. Chelsea, 7 losses. Arsenal, 13.
I think they should get rid of Arteta. I think they should get Allegri. Arsenal, Tottenham should get Milano Allegri.
Maybe.
Hughes Hiddink, someone good, or Laurent Blanc.
Maybe Allegri doesn't want to work in the Premier League because many clubs, I think, want him. But he never seems to come over here. I don't know.
He wants a job though. He's been out of football for like 2 years, and he's also been learning English. Apparently, Juventus have offered him the job again because they don't.
Yeah, people always do. That's another story as well with Juventus.
Terrible. So they're trying to, because now Inter Milan have won the title in the stranglehold. Yeah, Juventus have got to scrap for 4th.
Yeah, if they get the 4th, they might miss out on Champions League. That's going to be a big story if they do.
So you guys don't think much of Arsenal's chances then in the near future?
I'm looking at the matches. Well, they should win all of the matches. They have Chelsea to play still. That's going to be hard because they will travel to Stamford Bridge. But apart from Chelsea, they have West Brom, Crystal Palace, and Brighton. They should win at least those 3 games. Yeah. If they don't win those 3 games, then this shows you which problems they have at the moment. I don't know what's the issue, but it's big.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get top 6 or top 4. I think top 4 is almost sort of set on now. I think teams are in there now are not going to change. And sadly, I think Liverpool are going to be in the Europa League along with West Ham. So I think Arsenal and Everton, in fact, are going to have to settle for sort of mid-table places, not in any European places. And Spurs, I think, will be along with them. So yeah, I don't think Arsenal have got much to look forward to in the immediate future, at least.
I don't
think the next season things are different.
I don't think they will do well in a couple of the seasons coming up. There has to be a bigger problem. Maybe it's the owner, but I hope they will do better next season because I remember the Champions League final in 2006 when they lost to Barcelona and the Highbury days. They were the stars in Invincibles, but now it's really a shame. It's like I don't want Arsenal to be like Schalke, where what happened to Schalke.
Arsenal getting relegated next season. No.
Everything is possible. It's football.
So, do you guys think that the table is probably going to stay more or less the same, with Newcastle staying up, Fulham and West Brom joining Sheffield United?
Yeah. Fulham basically need to win every single game, and Newcastle need to lose every single game for Fulham to stay up. It's very unlikely. Wolves are now playing West Brom, and Wolves are winning, so that's done for West Brom. So yeah, and Fulham, yeah, it's a shame. Go on, Chris.
No, I was going to say, I think the bottom, you're right, it's all sort of set on. I think bottom three, as it is now, are going to stay as it is now. It's not going to change. It's a shame, really, because there's sort of 5 teams above the top 4 who are all really close, within 2 points of each other. So if Fulham had sort of done better and had 10 more points, then it'd be a really good scrap, that sort of avoiding that 18th place. But it's not going to happen. I think Fulham are dead on for it. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a shame because I think Scott Parker is actually doing better than it was 2 years ago when they finished 19th. I think he tried to really stay with them, but again, money doesn't always work, and it didn't work for Fulham. Well, we'll see. Maybe they will come back next year, but they're done.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So thank you for that. We're going to move on now to the social media blackout of the weekend, which was initially the biggest story until the protest happened. So what do you guys think of this initiative?
Yeah, I support it 100%. I think it's a great idea. It's so awful that footballers and other people get abused so much. Pundits and managers, everything have to suffer so much abuse on there. And a lot of it is racially aggravated, which is so awful. Sadly, I'm not sure social media companies are going to listen. They're not going to do sort of what they did with what they would do with copyright issues and take stuff down straight away. Actually, I think they're going to sort of do this and think it's a weekend. It's not going to affect us a huge amount, and they'll still make a lot of money. So I'm worried that it's not going to have any effect, but honestly, yeah, certainly has got the right idea with what he's tried to push forward.
Yeah, I support the idea, but the issue is, will it help? Or is it just like, yeah, we did something, we supported, but is it actually going to change anything? I doubt. More actions has to be taken. More of these kind of stuff has to be done in the future. You have to start somewhere, so I give it that. But more needs to be done because I don't think people will forget about it next month, basically.
Yeah, I think that as well. I think that 4 days isn't going to do anything. If it was 4 weeks or 4 months, then yeah, that maybe it will work, and maybe the social media companies have lost money at the weekend, but I don't really think it stops the trolls, does it? The Twitter trolls.
Yeah, it's not going to stop them because they are hidden behind the screen and they think they are invincible. But something should have been done, maybe in the parliament, maybe those social media organizations should be more taken account of. But on the other hand, what can they do as well?
Well, this should
to block it. I think if you're a fan of a certain club and you mock someone, like discriminate, then you should have a ban for life to support that club. The club should ban you as well. I think
what Steve Bruce said the other day was really important. He said that people don't log on there with the intention of causing harm. I think he's right. It just sort of they stray into it and they're angry about a club or they're angry about issues in the club. It just goes too far. And it's not saying he should have brought on his player earlier or, should have started him over him, whatever, or played more attacking football. It strays into racism and into a completely different realm of speech and expression. So I don't think people who are logging onto Twitter and thinking I'm going to abuse whoever it is, Steve Bruce or whatever. People who just get so sort of heads up about issues and they end up sort of having to expressing these views that are so abhorrent. So yeah, I'm not sure what can be done, but yeah, a lifetime ban these people is useful, I guess. But issue is that anonymous, so a lot of them know sort of picture. The companies won't share their details with agencies.
More should be done to like find who they are and find them a lot. It's something like the hooligans in the 80s and 90s in England, where they start giving huge fines. So they should do similar. I know it's harder because some people are anonymous, but everything in the power should have been done to find these people and find them a ridiculous amount of money. But on the other hand, if you have like 10,000 people doing it, it will be extremely hard, and resources are limited to just focus on, finding those trolls. So it's go on.
Sorry, no,
I finished.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to jump in with you guys and just say that I think there should be like £500 fines or something to these people. So if they're
higher
using people, because people have done that to me, Newcastle fans that did it to me last week. Chris saw, I was just having a joke. Sky Sports News did something about Newcastle from the 90s under Kevin Keegan, and I just said Newcastle still thinking they're a big team. And a laughing guy smirking or sniggering on the GIF, and then I just got a torrent of abuse, and it's just like a small tiny joke of Newcastle still thinking they're a big team. It's just a joke. And then Newcastle fans flood me with abuse. Or it was 3 years ago I said that Leicester could be doing so much better without Claude Puel and unlock their potential, and I was right. And then some of them thought Puel was good and were just abusing me. And then in the past, Man City were abusing me when Man City fans about Liverpool not winning the title in 2019, and Liverpool were chasing after it. So
yeah,
I think that
the issue is though
they just like they don't have much intelligence. They're literally just very emotional and don't mind just slinging abuse at people. And more needs to be done to try and restrain these people and delete their accounts or block them for 2 weeks, because they need to learn. There needs to be some sort of fundamental learning lesson in the penalty.
Well, the issue is anonymity, and they can be on there and not have their name or email address sort of visible, and that's the way that can avoid fines and bans. So yeah, that's the issue, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And moving on now to our next topic, guys, and that is the next Spurs boss. So who do you guys think Spurs should get and why?
I have 3 names. It's either Graham Potter from Brighton, Ralf Rangnick. He used to be a RB Leipzig manager, but he's been 2 years with our job, or Rafa Benitez. And I think Rafa Benitez, would be the best choice because he has the most experience in English football. But again, would he go to the rivals? Because, he managed Liverpool and stuff.
Me and Chris don't want him to. We don't want them to get.
No. He did manage Newcastle, didn't he?
No, I'm saying like objectively. I'm not saying like Ralf Rangnick would be good, I think, as well for them. A German coach is a good coach.
I'm not sure. I think Benitez would be a good appointment. I think a lot of people have rumoured Eddie Howe. I'm not sure if it's the right appointment for him. He was used to Bournemouth and Exeter. He was there, although a very different club, building clubs up sort of from the bottom and going up the leagues. He's not used to having all that money and all that pressure where he's expected to get sort of Champions Leagues and trophies. So I'm not sure if he'd be the right appointment, but yeah, Benitez would be a good shout, I think. I feel like it's not a huge issue, at least for me as a Liverpool fan, him going there. It's not like he's going to Man United like Michael Owen did. So I feel like I've not really got an issue with that. Ryan Mason, I think, is doing well. So as it stands, I don't think he should be sort of pressured to change your manager.
I don't think Ryan Mason will stick though.
Pardon?
I don't think Ryan Mason will stick.
I think that they should get Massimiliano Allegri because he's
too high of a shoes. I think
they should get Allegri. Laurent Blanc won titles at PSG and no one's employed him. I think there's some old giants like Goose Hiddink they could get, or because he won stuff, he'd actually win them something.
But to be fair, if you look at the old giants, Jose Mourinho is a giant. The special one.
He's better than Gus Hiddink as well.
Everyone, man. He annoys everybody, and everyone just butts heads with him. No, I do think that Ledley King will be good if they could bring him up.
Maybe they need to get like a cheaper manager, and it will work. Like I say, Graham Potter, I think, because I know that Spurs like his style.
We're not just
Like,
stealing from Brighton. He's already employed.
Yeah, he's a commander of Brighton.
Not
yeah,
employed.
but Graham Potter,
He's right, he's a decent guy.
I think Graham Potter would enjoy running away from a team that's struggling every year to stay in the
Struggling,
league.
staying up, not bad.
Was good. They could get Harry Redknapp back, or Martin Yule, or Tim Sherwood.
You know, they could get Scott Parker, because Scott Parker is now going down with Fulham. They could get him as well.
True.
Yeah, we're all good managers, but I think that Ryan Mason has done really well. And I think with Redknapp, I think he said he's retired now and he's not really going to get involved anymore. He's at Bournemouth, I think, sort of helping out every few weeks, but I don't think he's going to be getting back into full-time management, especially not at Spurs. So.
What's going on? Roy Hodgson going on?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
There's many managers they can pick, you know, and who will Daniel Levy pick? It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Bring back Alan Kirbishley. Right. Moving on to the Champions League semi-finals, guys. What did you guys think of PSG Man City? Who said Man City was going to win that?
I did.
Oh, you did. So you got that right. So you start us off then.
Yeah, I saw the game, and PSG absolutely dominated the first half. Now City didn't have much chance, but then the second half was a different story, and very nice goals from City. Keylor Navas was mistaken in those two goals. Nice goal from Riyad Mahrez, and Mbappe didn't. I think he didn't even have a one shot on City's net. So that's, you know, it's very hard to stop him, and they managed to do that. Well done, and to be fair, I hope they will progress to the final.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I was shocked that Man City won, especially it was away, I think, wasn't it? So yeah, I was shocked really, because in Champions League normally they're not the best team really. They can win against sort of little teams, but not your PSGs and Real Madrid. So I was surprised really, but I'm not sure a normal English final is on the cards. Chelsea are going to have a sort of a challenge to beat Real at home even. They've got the away goal, but I'm not sure if they're going to get through. So perhaps a Man City Real Madrid final is more likely. I guess we'll see.
Chelsea and Real Madrid, it's going to be a hard game, but Tuchel really tightened Chelsea's defense, and Real Madrid struggles to get through them. So this is a game where, to be fair, I don't know what will happen. It's very interesting because both teams are, I think, at similar levels at the moment. And, you know, Stamford Bridge is a tough place to go to. But who will go through? It's hard for me to predict.
So I think, well, Man City, I mean, I don't like Man City much, but credit to them that they came from 1-0 down to beat Dortmund 2-1. Same with PSG, they were down 1-0 at half-time. 1-2-1. PSG didn't play well in the second half. It was almost like they just felt they were entitled to win, and they didn't seem to cause City any problems. But I think judging on this, I think City will go through. I'm going to say 0-0, second leg. What do you guys think?
I say City 2, PSG 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe perhaps City can win at home. They've already won away, so I think if you're unlikely, they won't win at home. But yeah, I can see PSG getting a goal, so maybe 2-1 again. So I'll make it 4-2 on aggregate, and then yeah, with Chelsea, I can see them losing actually at home. It's 1-0 or 2-1. I'll go 2-1, I think. In which case, they'll obviously not go through.
2-1 to Real Madrid?
Yeah.
So that would be what on aggregate?
3-2, I think, on aggregate too. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid as well will win 1-0. So 2-1 aggregate.
Yeah, I say 1-0 Real Madrid as well.
Ooh, okay. So that's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is PSG City, and Wednesday is Chelsea Real Madrid. Okay, going on to the Super League. I mean, not Super League.
No, hopefully never. Hopefully never.
Europa League, not Super League. Europa League. So, is there a chance of another all English final, guys?
There is a chance, but I see United and Villarreal. United basically are in the final now, because if you win 6-2, I don't see Roma getting back from that. They're absolutely destroyed. Villarreal, I don't know. Arsenal play at home and they can still grab it. So that's going to be an interesting game.
I'm not sure really. I can see Longridge final now, actually. I think you're right. Man United are through now. Arsenal have got the away goal. Villarreal, I think, are a beatable team for them, at home. So if they can get a 0-0 or any sort of draw and avoid Villarreal getting the away goal, I think go through. So maybe Man United Arsenal final.
Yeah, I think United definitely 1 foot in the final, a bit like Man City, kind of look like they're already in the final. And think about what it will mean to the city of Manchester if Man City win the Champions League and United win the Europa League, especially with COVID. I think it depends what Arsenal turn up. If Arsenal play the best they can, they're definitely the better team on paper. Then Arsenal should win against Villarreal, but because it's Arsenal and I don't think there's much backbone or spine in the team and much mental strength, I think Villarreal probably 1-1, and I think that'll be 3-2 to them on aggregate.
Yeah, I think if you see at Emirates, Arsenal drew with Slavia Praga 1-1, and they only won away. I think 2-2, and Villarreal will go through on a gonna be then how much 4-3 for Villarreal, and it's gonna be United Villarreal final.
Ooh. Cool. Yeah, that's everything. Thanks.
That's everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks, Chris and Pete, for all your input.
My pleasure.
Thanks, James.
Thank you everyone for watching.
And next week's episode will have Team of the Week will be Chelsea, and we'll be focusing on the Manchester City-Chelsea match, and also the top 4 battle as Leicester continue their pursuit of a Champions League place, and West Ham also take on Everton. Thanks, guys, and have a nice week.